Today we learned about Leclanche cell. We'll determine its internal resistance and measure its EMF as well. Leclanche cell, as you know, is a primary cell, and the primary cells are those which cannot be recharged because their reactions are irreversible. Leclanche cell is one of the primary cells. So let us try to understand how the Leclanche cell works. Leclanche cell consists of a glass container which contains ammonium chloride solution which plays the role of electrolyte. It has positive electrode which is a carbon rod. This carbon rod is inside a porous pot. The porous pot contains charcoal powder and manganese dioxide. This porous pot is sealed and this porous pot has long life. Its negative electrode is the zinc rod. The zinc rod is amalgamated and this zinc rod plays the role of negative electrode. So when these two electrodes are dipped inside the solution, that is ammonium chloride, the cell will start functioning. So first we will try to understand how this cell works. Now let us try to understand the reaction involved in the Leclanche cell. In the Leclanche cell, the zinc gets dissociated into zinc ion and 2 electrons. Ammonium chloride solution gives ammonia, 2 hydrogen ion and 2 chlorine ions. The chlorine ion moves towards the zinc rod, combines with zinc ion and forms zinc chloride. The layer of this zinc chloride develops on the surface of the zinc electrode. Hydrogen ion enters the porous pot. Inside the porous pot, it takes 2 electrons from the carbon rod, and the carbon rod develops positive potential because it is losing electron. As electrons are in zinc rod behaves like a negatively charged electrode and it develops certain amount of negative potential. On the other hand, the carbon rod, which gives 2 electrons to hydrogen ion, becomes positively charged rod because it is losing 2 electrons. These 2 electrodes develops potential. So zinc rod develops some negative potential, carbon rod develops some positive potential, and difference of these 2 potentials creates EMF of the cell. Now we'll try to understand some problems in this cell, which are called cell defects. The 2 common defects in primary cells are local action and polarization. Local action is a problem with zinc rod. The commercially available zinc contains lead and iron particles as impurities. So when this zinc rod is dipped inside the ammonium chloride, they try to form local cells within the cell which destroys the EMF or reduces the EMF of the cell. And hence we try to prevent the participation of those iron and lead particles in the reaction. So we coat this with mercury. So mercury is rubbed on the zinc rod which is called amalgamated zinc rod. This mercury layer prevents iron and lead to come in contact and thereby it prevents local action. So you can prevent local action by using amalgamated zinc rod. Now another defect which is called polarization, defect of polarization of cell. The polarization occurs because hydrogen ion which is going towards the carbon electron and converting into hydrogen gas does not escape fast. But ammonia which is formed escapes fast. But hydrogen ion creates a layer around the carbon electrode and therefore this hydrogen needs to be removed continuously so that the cell remains effective. In order to do that, we use manganese dioxide inside this porous pot. So manganese dioxide is therefore playing the role of depolarizer because it is helping us to remove the hydrogen from the porous pot, and thereby it will make the cell more effective. So hydrogen is removed according to the reaction which I have shown here. As you can see here, hydrogen ion combines with manganese dioxide and forms Mn2O3 plus H2O. And in the process, this hydrogen ion takes 2 electrons from carbon electrode. Now the advantage of this manganese dioxide is, in the reaction you can see that manganese dioxide is getting converted into Mn2O3. But when the cell is not in use and it is given some rest, this porous spot will be taken out, and when the porous spot is taken out, it takes oxygen from air. And after taking the oxygen from air, as you can see in the reaction, it converts back to MnO2. And therefore, MnO2 is restored. And this is the reason the life of this porous spot is very large and it is also sealed. So, this is how we can prevent this cell from getting local action defect as well as a defect of polarization. And it performs better. But in spite of all these cells are better for only momentary current. These are not to be used for continuous current. So, whenever the cell is not to be in use, ensure that the zinc rod is taken out and the cell will stop working. So, when freshly prepared, a Leclanché cell gives an EMF of between 1.3 to 1.5 volt, and its internal resistance may vary from 0.5 ohm to around 5 ohm. But it all depends on the concentration of solution, height of electrolyte in the container, and also inter-electrode separation. These factors will decide the internal resistance of this primary cell. Now viewers, try to find out how do we decide electrode potential of an electrode, because these electrode potentials ultimately tells the value of EMF. So think over it, how do we decide the electrode potential of these two electrodes? Now we'll try to find out experimentally EMF of this Leclanché cell and also perform experiment to determine its internal resistance. Now let us try to understand method to determine EMF of this Leclanché cell. To determine EMF, we need a potentiometer. As you know, potentiometer is an instrument to determine EMF. In the circuit diagram as I have shown, AB represents a 4-wire potentiometer, each length 100 centimeters. So 400 centimeter length of potentiometer wire. Here I represent V as the source of EMF, which is through the rectifier. This is connected with a rheostat and a key. Potential difference between A and B will be measured by a voltmeter. E represents EMF of the Leclanché cell, whose EMF is to be measured. It is connected through a galvanometer with the jockey. This is the circuit arrangement. Now to determine EMF, we use this relation. K represents potential gradient. All of you know potential gradient. In my previous video, potential gradient experiment was shown, and you know that when we create a potential difference across a wire, the entire potential difference gets distributed in the wire. And we have done experiment on potential gradient. This potential gradient is represented by K, which is equal to VAB, that is potential difference between wire A and B, upon capital L, which represents length of the potentiometer wire, which is 400 centimeter for us. Here I have shown formula to determine EMF. EMF is equal to potential gradient, that is potential drop per unit length, multiplied by small l. Small l represents the balance length of the potentiometer wire. So when you multiply potential gradient with balance length, you get EMF of the cell. It can also be written as VAB upon capital L, that is length of the potentiometer wire, multiplied by the balance length. So if you change VAB, you can take different observations. Now to perform this experiment, the first thing that you should do is set the apparatus according to the circuit diagram and then join the connecting wires. This is the potentiometer, 400 centimeter long wire. This is point A, this is point B. Very close to this potentiometer, I have kept the battery eliminator. Here is the rheostat. The voltmeter is kept here, which will measure potential difference between A and B. Here I have the Leclanche cell. This is the galvanometer, which will be connected to the jockey. So first you make this arrangement before connecting them. Once they are all set, now you start joining with them with the connecting wires. Now we have joined the circuit. This is the battery eliminator. From the positive terminal of the battery eliminator is connected to point A. And you can see that Leclanche cell. So now our circuit has been connected. Now you can see that this is the battery eliminator whose positive terminal is at point A. The Leclanche cell positive terminal is also connected to point A, and the voltmeter's positive terminal is also connected to point A. This is very important point in potentiometer circuit, that all the positive terminals are connected at the same point. The negative terminal of the Leclanche cell is connected to the galvanometer, and the galvanometer's other end is connected to the jockey. And here, negative terminal of the rectifier. Now we have joined the circuit. This is the source of EMF, which is battery eliminator. Its positive terminal is connected to point A, and negative terminal is going to the rheostat, and from rheostat it is connected to point B. The voltmeter is connected across point A and B, and you can notice that its positive terminal is at point A. From A, we are also connecting the positive terminal of the Leclanche cell. And this is very important point of the potentiometer circuit, that all these three positive terminals, that is from the battery eliminator, from the voltmeter, from the Leclanche cell, are at the same point. The negative terminal of Leclanche cell, which is zinc rod, is connected to the galvanometer, and the galvanometer is then other end is connected to the jockey. This completes the circuit. Once the circuit is ready, now we'll start taking the observations. Now we have switched on the circuit. As you can see that the voltmeter reading is at around 1.8 volt. This voltmeter reading, remember, should be more than the EMF of the cell. As we said, we approximate EMF of Leclanche cell is 1.5 volt. So I have started with 1.8 volt of potential difference in the wire. Now I touch the jockey at end A. You can see that galvanometer goes to left. And when I touch the jockey at end B, the needle goes to right. This shows that galvanometer is showing two-sided deflection. That means our circuit is correctly joined. Now I touch the jockey at various points in order to locate the null point. It is the first wire, it is still on the left. Second wire, it is still on the left. Now I am in the third wire. As I go in the third wire, the galvanometer deflection is decreasing. And so, now I'll have to find out the null point. When I touch the jockey at 295 centimeter, the galvanometer needle comes to 0. And this is the null point at 295 centimeter. 100 centimeter, 200 centimeter, 295 centimeter gives me the balance length of this cell. So therefore small l is 295 centimeter. Using these values, we can calculate EMF of this Leclanche cell. And this gives me my first observation. Now to take my second observation, I have moved the rheostat and now the voltmeter is reading 2 volt. So with this 2 volt, now I again check two-sidedness of the deflection. It is there, and so we'll look for the balance point. Since the previous balance point was 295 and now I have increased the potential difference, my next volt balance length should be less than 295. So you can check directly in the third wire and see that at what value I get 0 deflection. Now I am getting 0 deflection at 280 280 centimeter. 280 centimeter is the new balance length. I use this balance length and calculate the EMF of the cell. Now our third and the last observation. For this I have increased the voltmeter reading to 2.2 volt. At 2.2 volt, again to be on the safer side, we check the two-sidedness of the deflection. Galvanometer is showing two-sided deflection, circuit is perfect. Now, since the potential gradient has further increased, the balance length will reduce little bit. And so, I start again in the third wire and keep moving my jockey towards right and increase the length in search of the balance point. At 260 centimeter length, at 260, I get the balance length. Now you can see galvanometer is reading 0 volt, 0 reading. Needle is at 0 and this is the balance length. So the balance length is 260 centimeter long. Now, from the first observation, we got EMF of Leclanché cell as 1.33 volt. From the second observation, we got 1.4 volt. And from the third observation, we got 1.43 volt. The average of these three readings came out as 1.39 volt. So this is the EMF of this Leclanché cell, which is 1.39, that is around 1.4 volt. This is how we can determine EMF of Leclanché cell. Now we'll try to perform another experiment to determine internal resistance of this Leclanché cell. Now let us start experiment to determine internal resistance of the Leclanché cell using potentiometer. This is the circuit diagram for determining internal resistance of the Leclanché cell. Again, this is our 4-wire potentiometer AB, battery eliminator, the source of EMF, that is V. Now you can see that we have connected one ammeter in the circuit. This ammeter is used only to show that the current in the circuit is not changing during the course of experiment. This is the rheostat. This is Leclanché cell, across which there is a resistance box S, small resistance box X, having variable resistance in it. We can select the resistance according to our requirement. This is another key, K2, and then galvanometer, and with that we have connected the jockey. Now I have represented the cell with EMF E and its supposed internal resistance is R. These are the circuits. First we switch on the circuit K1. When the K1 is switched on, current starts flowing in the circuit. When the current starts flowing in the circuit, there will be PD across the potentiometer wire AB, and hence the potential gradient will be developed. This potential gradient is suppose K. As you can see in this circuit, K2 is still off. Hence, no current is passing through this part of the circuit, that is through S. Now when you use the galvanometer to get the balance point, what you balance is the EMF of the cell. So while taking the experiment, you first check the two-sidedness of the deflection, then get the balance length. Suppose the balance length is at C. The length will be measured in the direction of the current. So this 100 plus this much, that is AC represents the balance length of this, and this is suppose the first balance length L1, that is from A to C is our first balance length. Hence, since we have balanced the EMF of the cell, we write E equal to KL1. This is our first equation. Now keeping K1 on, switch on K2 also, and take out a small resistance from the box. When you take out small resistance from the box and switch this on, the current starts flowing in this branch as well. So the current will start flowing in this branch as well. This is the way the current will flow. And hence, the EMF of the cell has now changed into terminal potential difference. And the resistance in this part of the circuit will be external resistance S plus internal resistance R. And hence, the cell has become active, and now instead of EMF, we have terminal potential difference. Now again we go check the balance length. What you are balancing now is not EMF, but remember you are balancing terminal potential difference. Again you check two-sidedness of the deflection in the galvanometer. Once you are satisfied with two-sidedness of the deflection, now you start touching the jockey at different points and get the second balance length. Let the second balance length comes at D. This balance length will be measured in the direction of current, and from A to D will be the second balance length. Let the second balance length be L2. Quite obviously, the second balance length will be less than the first balance length. Because what you balanced first was the EMF of the cell, and now you are balancing terminal PD of the cell through which the current has been drawn, and therefore terminal this balance length will be less than the previous balance length. From these two equations, now we have balanced terminal PD V, which is equal to KL2. This K should be same as the previous K, and that is the purpose of this ammeter. The ammeter will show that during these two observations there is no change in the current, and hence there is no change in the potential gradient of the wire. When this condition is satisfied, then only you can write E by V equal to L1 upon L2. And this is our equation number 3. Now if you look at theoretically, EMF of a cell equal to I into external resistance S plus internal resistance. This is EMF equation, and the terminal PD can also be written as I into S. These are two equations of E and V. If you divide them, you get another equation of E upon V, which is S plus R upon S. This is one equation, equation number 3, the ratio of E by V. This is also E by V. Now equate these two. If you simplify, you get the relation for the internal resistance of the cell, which says internal resistance is equal to S into L1 minus L2 upon L2. This formula is to be used to determine the internal resistance of this Leclanché cell. Now we will perform experiment to determine internal resistance of this Leclanché cell. Now let us understand the experimental setup. Remember, as I said earlier, first we need to place the things according to the circuit diagram, and as you can see I have made this arrangement according to the circuit diagram, and then I joined the circuit. All these connections were done after placing the apparatus in the right place. So here is our battery eliminator, whose positive terminal is connected to the point A, and the negative terminal through rheostat is going to point B. But as you can see now, here there is an ammeter in the circuit which will represent the current flowing in the potentiometer wire. Then the Leclanché cell positive terminal is at end A, negative terminal is going to this key, and another is going to the galvanometer. The galvanometer is connected to jockey, and across this Leclanché cell I have a resistance box and this key arrangement. When this key is off, the resistance box will not be in the circuit. When we want to bring this resistance box in the circuit, we switch on this key. This is the experimental setup to perform an experiment for the determination of internal resistance of the Leclanché cell. Now I switch on the circuit. When I switch on, you can see that ammeter is showing a current of 0.2 ampere Hence, 0.2 ampere current is flowing through the potentiometer wire. First, I check the two-sidedness of the deflection in the galvanometer. It is correct. And now we look for the balance point. It is not in the first wire, not in the second wire too. I have reached the third wire. Now I am approaching the balance length. And the balance length is coming as at around 243 centimeters. If I go here, little here, it changes. If it is here, it changes. And at 243, the galvanometer is showing zero deflection. So the first balance length is 243 centimeter. Now I take out 1 ohm resistance from the box and switch on K2. Now this part of the circuit becomes active. Current is flowing through the resistance and hence terminal PD has developed across the cell. Now what I will balance is the terminal potential difference. Again we check the two-sidedness of the deflection. After checking two-sidedness of the deflection, now we look for the balance length. It is decreasing, 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 and at 91 centimeter around. 91 centimeter I am getting zero deflection in the galvanometer. To be more clear, increase little bit, decrease little bit, and at 91 centimeter I get the second balance length. So L2 is 91 centimeter. Using this L1 and L2 and the value of resistance S as 1 ohm, we can calculate the internal resistance of this Leclanché cell. And internal resistance will come out around 1.6 ohm for this particular setup. Now we will approach to take the second observation. Now for the second experiment, I increase the value of current to 0.25 ampere, which will increase the current in the potentiometer wire and thereby will increase the potential gradient. Again we check two-sided deflection first. It is there. Now look for the first balance length. Key is off and K2 is off, and we look for the first balance length. I am in the second wire. It is decreasing, and at 180 centimeter, the galvanometer needle gives me zero. At 180 centimeter. So the first balance length is 180 centimeter. Now I switch on this key. This resistance is still 1 ohm. And again check two-sided deflection. Look for the balance point L2. It is in the first wire itself, it seems, and now at 65.5. At 65.5, I am getting zero deflection. 65.5. The deflection is zero. So this is balance length L2. Again using L1 and L2, we substitute them on our table and calculate the internal resistance. After calculating, internal resistance comes to around 1.7 ohm. This is our second observation. Now to take the next observation, I have set the current to 0.3 ampere. Now 0.3 ampere current is flowing through the potentiometer wire. As the current has increased, potential gradient also must have increased. I check two-sidedness of the galvanometer deflection first. Yes. Since the galvanometer deflection is showing two-sided, that means circuit is correct. Now we look for the first balance length. K2 is still off. Keeping K2 off, we look for the first balance length. It is not in the first wire. Now it is coming. It is coming. Now at 150.5 to be exact, 150.5, I am getting the balance length. Galvanometer is at 0. So this is 150.5 centimeter is the first balance length. Now I switch on K2, keeping S still at 1 ohm. Again we check two-sided deflection. As the deflection is two-sided, circuit is perfect. And now look for the second balance length. It is decreasing. It is left and now it has gone to right. So it is somewhere in here. Now I locate the exact position, and exact position is at 57.3 centimeter. 57.3 centimeter. These precise observations we can take by using set square, and it is 57.3 centimeter is the balance length. This is second balance length, L2. Now we switch off the circuit. Our three observations are complete. Using this third observation as L1 150 centimeter and L2 57.3 centimeter, we substitute them in our table and we get the resistance around 1.62 ohm. So from these three observations, we have calculated resistance of Leclanché cell. We can take the mean of these three and get the value of internal resistance of this Leclanché cell. So we have taken three observations. From the first observation, we got internal resistance as 1.67 ohm. From second observation, 1.74 ohm. From the third observation, 1.62 ohm. The mean of these three will be around 1.67 ohm. This is how we can determine internal resistance of this Leclanché cell. If you have observed, we have kept S constant in our three observations. You can also perform this experiment by changing the value of S without changing the position of rheostat. Kindly think over what difference will it make if you keep the rheostat constant in the fixed position and change the value of S and take different observations. In case of any doubt or query, kindly mail me at 1984akdas@gmail.com. Thank you.